Hello, everybody. I'm Monique Quattro, and if you're watching this, then I have posted it, which I'm not sure I will do. And this would be perhaps another or the second vlog in a row as in place of writing my typical blog post for Monique's Musings. Okay, so to the topic. I typically blog twice a month, and one of the generally my musings, one which is general thoughts, and another which is about my Christian journey. So recently, what I've been musing about is the conception of virginity. Now, first thing first, I'm a feminist, and I'm also a Christian. So these two things typically get me stares, I guess, or awkward questions because a lot of people can't reconcile the two. If you're a feminist, you can't be Christian because Christianity says the man is the head and a woman is the neck. Or I don't even know where the body parts came from. There's no verse like that. But that's what it translates into. And if you're Christian, you can't be feminist because feminists don't believe in submission. And feminists don't believe in um, praying to God as a father and God being masculine and a lot of stupid things. So I won't get into that debate of reconciling both beliefs because feminism is a belief and a movement, and both movements, because Christianity is a movement as well. You're supposed to act on your faith. So keeping the two aside, I'm just saying the virginity or the issue of virginity is one of those topics where you can see I can actually see how can I put it, the conflict between these two beliefs. So Christianity does state premarital sex is wrong, and for that reason your body is considered temple of God and holy, and you are not supposed to commit that sin, not because your virginity makes you holy. No, if you're a Christian, nothing makes you holy except believing in Christ. If you're a Christian, nothing makes you holy except God's grace. You can't do it on your own. But it's a sin, after all, if you commit it, and something that you are encouraged not to do. And now, feminism says you have full ownership of your body. You can do and undo and give away or lose, and I don't like the idea of lose, but still, you can lose whatever you want to do, and it is yours to do. Feminism criticizes the purity. How can I put it? The notion of purity around virginity, because of our society basically putting weight on one gender's virginity. Of course, it's always the woman. So there's a need to emphasize that. So feminism criticizes this and says, okay, first of all, I am not less pure because I am not a virgin. And if a woman should sleep with you, they don't lose their value for sleeping with you. And even if, as is often the case, they did not choose to sleep with you, being raped did not devalue her. Being assaulted actually is a crime done against her, so it shouldn't affect her worth. And so in this case, you can see where feminism will say that full ownership of your body contradicts and your encouragement to live as you would like to live. You can see how it might contradict with the idea that, okay, you need to keep this thing because it's precious, because you're God's own, and because you shouldn't because you shouldn't engage in premarital sex, for example. It should be done within a blessed union. So yeah, there is that contradiction. However, it's very slight contradiction in my opinion, because feminism didn't say being a virgin is a bad thing or nobody should be a virgin. Feminism is against inequalities, and there's an inequality here because we tend to expect virginity from one gender rather than both. We tend to consider virginity a symbol of purity and goodness in one gender, whereas in the other gender is seen as losing your virginity is a good thing, celebrated, and something that, oh, he's getting skills, he's sowing his royal oats, he will know how to treat a woman in the future. Get the point? It's that inequality that feminism is against. And of course, feminism is for the full exploration of your body, full enjoyment of sexual intercourse if you want to. And that does not in any way contradict with Christianity. So if you're telling me, oh yeah, you can't possibly be a virgin and be feminist, no, it doesn't work that way. It really does not work that way. Because it's not something you can be a housewife. There are a lot of misconceptions. You can be a housewife and be a feminist. It's a matter of choice. It's a matter of full exploration. So if you're a virgin because you believe that's what makes you pure, then you're doing it for the wrong reasons. Even as a Christian, you're doing it for the wrong reasons, because you're not supposed to be basing your self-worth or your righteousness on that. If you're and if you're a virgin because of that, of course you can't be feminist, because you're saying you're keeping yourself based on societal expectations. It's not you. However, if your motives are, okay, I'm choosing to do this, it's my choice, and I agree with my belief that I should be one for this and this reason. And it doesn't matter if I'm not one, because quite frankly, yeah, I made the choice to do this. I made the choice to have sex. I made the choice to, and even as a Christian, you're making that choice is up to you. God did give us free will. Now, whether you have the free will to sin, now whether you consider having done that act, you ask for forgiveness. That's between you and God. But it doesn't change the fact that this thing is not your ticket to heaven. This thing is not your sign. It's not a sign of righteousness. This thing is not a symbol of your self-worth. Now, I'm saying this, or I'm sharing this because because I'm going through an internal debate, ergo, and because there is a trend going on Twitter right now, actually following T.I.'s checking his daughter's hymen. And T.I., we don't know him, as an American rapper, a Black American rapper, and one who is often embroiled in scandals. So when he was asked about giving the sex talk to his children and teaching them about sexual health, sexual reproductive health, he mentioned that, yeah, he does, and he takes his daughter to the hospital regularly to check her hymen to make sure that she's still a virgin and she isn't lying to him. So, of course, you can see how this went viral, and a lot of comments have been made about it. First thing being that, yeah, having a hymen or not having a hymen doesn't declare the fact that you're a virgin. The next thing being, of course, in my opinion, next thing should be, or in fact, the first thing should be, he has no place to be checking her body. He isn't her owner. He isn't God. He is her father. Finally, which perhaps, I don't know, perhaps this should be the first thing, the idea that he thinks he is morally superior to her to be able to check her virginity and put that weight on that child on a regular basis to say, this is the thing that will make you or break you. If this is broken, yeah, then you're a bad girl from now on, so I'm checking it. This is your test. This is your regular examination. And me, I'm your examiner as your father. That's really, for me, the height of hypocrisy coming from somebody who obviously doesn't care that her brother, his son, is sexually active at 15, doesn't care that he himself share his work, his rapping, his music, his celebrity lifestyle, he having multiple kids out of his marriage. Obviously, he isn't morally placed to be judging her whether she's a virgin or not. So it's that inequality that angers us as feminists, sorry, on the issue of virginity. So it's that inequality that brings the question: are you guys doing this because, or are you guys pushing women to do this because you want them to meet a certain standard? And are we as women, have we taken this thing in to mean, okay, being socialized to feel this is what makes a good woman, this is what um, will make one feel deserving of having a good man, or having a good marriage, or things like that. It's kind of like something's sacred. And I'm not saying it's not sacred. It is for you. It is you, just like you're sacred. We're all sacred in God's eyes. We're all meant to be sacred. Human life is sacred, and who they tend to share it with. But to say it has some value, especially one person, one gender, has a certain value, whereas the other person's doesn't. Now, you see that inequality is problematic. And again, it brings in Christian, if you have to bring in the Christian point of view into it, kind of be like, okay, so if you want to say, you're basing your holiness or your righteousness on the fact that you have not committed this particular sin, then what about the other sins that you have committed? Do they make you, are you saying that this particular sin that you have not committed is greater than other sins? Here again, there is that issue of us judging what sin is greater than the other, what sin is less of an issue. You won't have a problem if you kiss somebody. You won't have a problem if you kiss somebody out of your marriage. If you if you shared emotional intimacy, which is a lot, with somebody that is either it's not your partner, and you think it's okay because, oh, I didn't sleep with the person. And there are lots of other sins that we commit, in terms of betraying friends, in terms of bearing false witness, in terms of not forgiving, in terms of creating idols. And in this way, I think this purity concept has kind of made us idolize a thing as well. We idolize the notion of purity. We idolize this. We idolize virginity. We idolize what is seen as morally correct, and in idolizing it, we give that thing power as our God, to say this is the thing that gets me into heaven, or this is the thing that makes me holy. Whereas those things are not our God. The fact that you do not sin, the fact that you have not committed a particular sin, is not necessarily you. It might just be, it is. I even like it is the fact that it is God's grace if you're a Christian. The fact that you haven't done something which you typically would have done is literally not true. And if you have done that thing, you are still told that come as you are. So I was just thinking about this, and I decided to make a brief video about it. It's about 7 a.m. here now. And I guess I haven't shared too much, so maybe I'll actually post this one along with some writing and probably some material on where you can read more about this. And I would love to hear from you. So thank you so much for your readership and for listening. And I hope this meets the right person.